Hello, everyone. This is the 818 and Conversate podcast, and I'm your host, Nadine of 818 Events. Every episode is going to feel like a spontaneous road trip with your closest friends. Bring your luggage because we'll be unpacking everything, all the real shit. I'm going to be joined by an awesome passenger every now and then, and who knows, we might even pick up a hitchhiker along the way. So picture this, you're vibing, spilling the tea, storytelling, reminiscing, manifesting even. There might be a little detour of controversy here and there, so we might have to pump the brakes when shit gets too real. But it will always be a good-ass conversation, and it will be the road trip that you don't want to end. Episodes drop the 8th and 18th of every month, so in the spirit of a dope road trip, grab your travel snacks, crank the volume, hop in the whip, and let's ride. Hello, everybody. This is the 818 and Conversate podcast, and I'm so excited. This is episode number 3, and I have a passenger here with me today. I'm not alone like I was last time. So I'm going to introduce her, and then I'll let her introduce herself. But this is Maria. She's a good friend of mine. She's also, I call her a nail guru. She's a nail queen, but we met a long time ago. Actually, she was doing my nails for several years, but we've stayed good friends ever since. And she is also the owner of the Pink Room, as you can see above us here. But I'll have you introduce yourself. So thank you for coming on the show.
Hey guys, thank you for having me, babe. I'm super excited to be here on the show. I almost had to beg Nadine to put me on, but I'm super excited. I'm joking. I'm super excited to be here and get into this whole episode today.
So speaking of this episode was actually inspired by Maria. She posted something one day on Instagram and it stuck with me. I've told a ton of people like the reference over the year or so since you posted it, but it inspired this episode. So this episode is actually all about soaking it all up, and that kind of goes for being conscious about who and what is around you, because everything that you keep around you, you are like a sponge. So if it's good vibes, negative vibes, it will all become a part of your day-to-day, and
whatever vibes they are will soak up.
Yeah, your mental state, you're a sponge. So I will actually have Maria explain this reference, but the story that she told was about this oil spill that happened, and she referenced it in regards to, you know, an oil spill being something that is similar to negative vibes and covering you in them, and it being so hard to remove once they're on you. So I'll let her tell the story because she tells it very well, but that's what inspired this episode, so check it out.
So it's funny because when you brought it up, I was like, what oil spill is she talking about? And I'm like referencing, I'm like, what is going on in the world right now that like maybe I forgot? But no, I do remember, and it was actually it was an oil spill that was happening in Brazil maybe like July last year. They actually dumped a lot of oil into the ocean. And it was just talking about, like, I was reading, I love the animals, so I was talking about the animals that were affected in this oil spill, and there was a lot of movements and a lot of organizations that had to come in and help the animals and help them be like washed and cleansed of this oil, because it was very thick, like think of like almost like molasses, and these animals were dipped in it, so you know, like birds couldn't fly, just sea animals couldn't swim anymore, so it was like really devastating and sad.
You know, when you talk about that, and guys, Maria has a very soft voice, so I'm gonna bug her throughout the episode to speak up, but the one reference that I think about when you were talking about that was, remember those old like dishwash soap commercials?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes, it was Dawn, like Dawn does it with the ducks.
Yeah, and they like were wiping off the duck, the oil off the duck.
Exactly. So picture exactly that. And I referenced it because I had a situation with someone in my life, and it was basically they had a lot of built up negative emotion in them, and I feel like I was the punching bag for them in that moment, and they let out a lot of, I like to call it word vomit, when people just kind of like throw their emotions or their feelings at you. And I was just practically his punching bag in this moment, and he spilled a lot of negativity towards me, a lot of feelings that weren't necessarily brought on by me, but he was feeling. And it really affected me, and I feel like it took me maybe like 2 days to get over it, and it had me like feeling like super low, and like for the majority of the time, I feel like I'm a very positive person and I can overlook situations and scenarios that I'm put into. And this was just heavy, you know, it had me like thinking, like considering like who I am as a person, what I've done, how I've treated this person. And it just clicked onto me. I was like, this person, it was an oil spill. It wasn't necessarily my doing or my emotions. And it was his oil spill that unfairly, like, I got caught in, and I was like stuck with all this negativity and like all this feeling.
Can't get it off of
Yes. And like, I literally remember I came in here, I didn't even have work that day. I came in here because I had to be alone, and I just sat in my feelings for a while, and I was like, that is so crazy to me how that person's emotions and feelings were able to like bring me down and deter who I am as a person.
Because you soaked it all up, girl.
I soaked it all up, and I was just there, and I took it all in, right? So I did go on Instagram, and I spoke to, like, I like to go on and like rant sometimes on Instagram, and I just basically said that. I was like, be very careful with the people that you're around or the situations that you're put in, because you will soak up who these people are and what like the environment is, and you have to be very careful of like the person that you are becoming because of your environment and your surroundings.
You know, it's funny because I think when you posted that day, I had something similar happen, and I remember I'm an emotional person, and everybody knows me, you know, knows that, and I know that I am someone who soaks up somebody's, you know, bad vibes, even if I try not to. You know, when someone's in a great mood, I soak that up as well, but for someone to be like me, to be such a sponge, and to go with other people's ups and downs, it can be very challenging because you lose sight of your own feelings because you're so, I mean, I think the word is empathetic, right? Like, for someone like myself who's very empathetic, you are literally pulling from other people's energy. So not being aware and conscientious about what other people's energy is that is around you can actually be so detrimental to your every single day, because that energy is literally going to be,
it's what you become.
It's going to be what you become, exactly. Yeah. And as a result, you pass that on to the other people around you, right? So, you know, have you ever been in one of those situations where you were kicking it with somebody, you know, their vibe sucked, you left there in such a bad mood, and you go home and now you're in a bad mood, and then everyone's like, what the hell's your problem? You know, like your family or your friends are like, I don't know what happened to you today, but I didn't do it, you know? And that's kind of that sponge soaking up thing that continues because of that. So I think it goes to say, you know, you need to be really mindful of the people that you have around you, because if you're going to be that person that soaks up everything from everybody, and that just happens naturally and organically.
Well, the truth is, as humans, like, it's energy, right? Yeah. So you're gonna pick up that frequency.
Yeah.
And it's like, when you just go deep into it, like, we're all energetically vibrating. So depending on the vibration that they're on, like, you connect with that, and you level out to people. So you have to be very careful of like who you're dealing with, who's in your life, what kind of energy they carry. And like, something that's been very big for me is being around energy conscious people, because I don't mind if you're in a bad mood or you're like in a low vibration. I want to talk to you about it.
Be transparent about
it, call you out on it. And you're allowed, like, my friends are allowed to have their negative days or their sad days, but it's just, how do you overcome it, and who are you above all, and how are you looking at the situations, right?
It's funny because I was speaking to one of my girlfriends the other day, and she said she very clearly told one of her friends, you know, I'm having a bit of a time, you know, with COVID and the new lockdowns and not working, and this is how I'm feeling. Told her friend how she was feeling, then said, you know what, I'm gonna, like, in her mind was like, you know what, I'm gonna shut down the negative energy and I'm gonna talk about something good. So she talked about an opportunity coming her way and something she's excited about, and the friend kind of responded to that attempt for her to be positive with a negative response. And in that moment, she was like, I don't want this energy. I don't want someone who doesn't realize that if I just told you that I'm not feeling, you know, good, so I'm going to focus on something that makes me feel good, something that's positive, then I don't expect from my friend or, you know, the people around me who know I need positive energy to feed me back negative energy, right? And so...
See, I think that's something that, sorry to cut you off, that's something that we also have to be conscious about, that not because, and I've learned that a lot this year, not just because we're friends, sadly, and this might sound so hard to some people, but not just because we're friends doesn't mean that you're a good person or a good energy for me to surround myself with. And that's a very big thing that I've taken in. Like, sometimes, as much as, like, you know, there's history with us, there's like, we've had great times. If you are not bringing good energy to the table, you can't sit at my table anymore.
Yeah, I love the table reference.
You know, like, and that's really what it's about, though. It's about also, like, in that sense, that friend, it's like, you have to realize that that person doesn't bring you out of a negative situation, you know? Like, it's different to vent and to tell you, like, I do it all the time. I'm like, sometimes I get messages and they're like, how are you so positive? Listen, I have a world of negativity. It's just how I deal with it and how I don't let it bring me down. And even when I vent about it, I always have a solution. Yeah. You know? I'm not sitting here being like, this is bad, this is bad, this is bad. And then you give me a solution. I'm like, no, but you have to be careful of the but people. Because the but people always have a but. Yeah. And you soak that up and then you start giving excuses, you know? And like, a big thing that I say, like, even like in this, like, not even just going black and white, negative or positive, it's quitters. Like, to me, quitters are people that, like, I stop surrounding myself with quitters. Or
but
even,
how are you supposed to feel inspired and ambitious?
Exactly. And I read something, I forgot what book it was, but it said, once you start becoming a quitter, be it in whatever, like, say you say, I'm gonna eat healthy, and 2 days from now you quit, or I'm gonna stop watching so much TV and then you binge a show, or I'm gonna stop talking to this person and you continue to, those are all quitter mentality or quitter traits. And you start doing that and you make your brain think, like, subconsciously, I'm a quitter. I'm allowed to quit. So next time I say I'm gonna do something, I could quit it right away, you know? And like, those people you have to be very careful of because they're never gonna progress. And like you said, they're not gonna inspire you. They're not gonna motivate you. Yeah. And it's like, I need people that, like, the moment you say you're gonna do something, it doesn't have to be right away, but you're actively working towards it. Yep. You know, and like, that's just like bettering yourself as a person and bettering your circle and like your environment.
And you know, that kind of goes back to the table thing, right? Because it's not just about what you bring to the table. For me specifically, you know, what can I benefit from the person that's at my table? It's about the fact that, are we all moving at the same pace? Are we all feeding into each other? Are we all resonating positive energy and ambition and focus? Because if we're not, then, you know, like you said, it's a little bit harsh to say, but it's not necessarily about like leaving those people in the dust, but it's kind of like leaving them where they want to be at. Exactly. So, you know, I think one of the things that we start to feel guilty about for ourselves is like, are we ending a friendship or a relationship with somebody because they're not on our page? They're not at the same point as us, where we want to go and where we're, you know, aspiring to be. Is that we feel this guilt about leaving people behind. But the thing is that some people don't feel like they're being left behind because they are choosing to stay there, right? And so, you know, surrounding yourself with those people could keep you in a very stagnant place. And on the last episode, I talked all about, you know, getting comfortable being uncomfortable. Some people don't want to be uncomfortable. Some people want to stay.
Some people are good where they are, and that's something I've learned too. You have to allow people, like,
to just be them.
And some people are completely happy, and you know, it goes back to ignorance is bliss. Like, that's all you know, and you're okay there, and you're allowed to stay there. It's just, I can't be here with you. You know, back to the table. Like, our dinner's done. I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go. And I feel like that's just very important to, like, even like the whole like not leaving your friends. I just had this conversation and it's like, how do you tell your friends, like, I'm done being your friend? And it's not necessarily about I'm done being your friend, because if you didn't do anything wrong to me, I'm not done being your friend. Like, I still got love for you. My loyalty doesn't just die there. But I think it's more of like, how much time am I gonna focus on you, you know? And like, that's even something that with the business I've learned, like time management, like, where does my focus go on? What should I be paying more attention to? Like, what area of my business or my life needs to be babied a little bit more? And I feel like you have to look at your friends and your surroundings like that. Like, is this an investment? You know, and like, it all goes back to the same mentality. It's all the same core mentality of being like a winner and succeeding at life and being the most positive and the best version of yourself. So to some people, it might sound harsh and it might sound a little bit like, you look at, like, I've had it been told to me, like, you think life is a business and that's how you look at it. And to be honest, it is. Like, I'm investing in myself and I want this to be like the most rewardful journey. Exactly, that I can have. And that might seem harsh to some people, but when you find people on that wave of bettering yourself, people are like, I get it. Like, thanks for checking me. You've even said to me sometimes, you're like, Maria, don't take it wrong. I say the same thing to you. And it's like, I don't take it wrong, because every time she's given me a sense of criticism or like pointers or anything, it's only been to better myself. So it's like, okay, I don't want to hear that right now, but I digest it and I'm like, thank you. Because there aren't a lot of people. When I remember the first comment that I gave you about the podcast, I'm like, I just sent her like a 3-minute voice note. I hope she doesn't take it the wrong way, but it's funny because while you're talking about these type of relationships, I'm thinking about our relationship. And you know, we've been friends for years now. It's been quite a long time. And maybe like 7? Somewhere between like 6 or 7 years. And I think about, you know, we don't see each other often. We don't have like casual conversations too often. And I think it's because we're both busy and we're both like invested in the things we're working on left, right, and center.
but our friendship is always coming from a place of like growth and inspiration, and I feed
motivation.
Into you. Yeah.
Well, even when we met, we were both just like starting like our business, and like it was just both like we had a dream and we're like, hey, we're gonna do this. We both had like our full-time jobs, and we're like, okay, this is what I'm doing on the side, and like just to see us grow is like, okay.
I swear my appointments used to just be therapy sessions.
I know. I was like, hey, what are you doing now? Like, what is it? No, but it's true, and like you need those types of like vibes that it's like. My friends know, like, I'm the honest and the harsh friend, and like even when my friends are crying sometimes I'm like, you fucked up. Like, sorry, I don't know if I can say that, but like it's you know, and like they look at me like, can you? And it's like, but I love you and I don't want to sit here and tell you like, no, you did nothing wrong. Don't worry, because there are people like that. Like I look back at some friends and I'm like, how did they tell me I was okay in that situation when I wasn't? You know, and it's like you have to look at it. They're not being negative. They want no, but I mean when people don't call you out on your mistakes, they're not being a negative friend. They just feel like that's a way I should care about her, but it's like I don't need that soft love, right? So you just kind of got to see like what negativity and what positivity you want in your life, because at the end of the day we're all like negative and positive, and you know it's like we all have that. It's just choosing what they bring to the table, again, what energy it is, what like moods they are, like what way they look at life, and like moving forward with that.
So spinning off of that, one thing I noticed about you, especially during COVID and especially, you know, given the lockdowns and everything, is you have demonstrated and shared with everybody on your social media that you're just like soaking up life. Like you're
Thank
like,
you,
I want to, you know, you're like, I want to do this and I'm going to go for it wholeheartedly. And it goes back to the quitter mentality probably as well. But, you know, you started rollerblading and you took like, she took a dive and she shared
like
that
3,
with the world.
but that one, even my knees, I posted a picture yesterday and you know what? I was like, no filters. Like, I'm just going to leave it as is. I didn't edit my scars, and Nadine messages me and she's like, is that from when you fell on the rollerblades? And I'm like, yes,
her poor knee,
No. They're like, I was literally just saying, I'm like, maybe I should get laser on them because they're so bad.
No, but she was so determined to go out and learn, and she was sharing every experience as
I went down a hill today.
See? She was, you know, she was sharing her like first moments when she was going through a park, and she was like, whoa, there's a bit of a slope, you know, this is challenging, but every time she achieved another level of success and like learning how to do it, it was just a demonstration that, you know, she's all about soaking up experiences, sharing them with people so that they can like pull off of that energy and inspiration and motivation to do something. You know what?
I love showing people that like life is meant to be lived. You know, I feel like such little people like actually take that in, and like this year was like a crazy year of growth for me, but I experienced death in a very close way a couple times. So it definitely gave like my outlook of life. Like life is to live. Like that's it. You know, when you really look at it, we all have exactly like God made you with exactly what you need to live. So like nothing beyond what we were given at birth is what you need. I got hella deep right now. But aside from that, our only job really is to enjoy it. And, you know, like, that's why, like, me, it's like, yeah, I have my negatives, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I'm still alive. Like, and that might seem, again, a little too intense for some people, but that's literally all it is, you know, and I know you feel me on that. It's like, just enjoy whatever moment you have. And, like, even COVID was something so hard to get used to, but the way I looked at it was like, I've never given myself time off. Like, I've worked since I was, like, a kid for so, like, that's just me. I've never really spent time with family. I've never really spent time with friends. I've never like just chilled.
I know.
And just, what do I like to do? What do I like to eat? What do I like, you know, like, and it's just like, enjoy it. Do the best you can out of it, and like hang around people. And like, I was so happy that a lot of my friends were like that, like learning how to paint or like doing something new. You with the podcast, like, you know, so much people around me were doing new things that I was like, okay, like that's what we have to do. And I remember at one point I was like, business shut down. Oh my God, what else is there? For me, Maria was no one without my business.
Yeah, your work 24/7, girl.
That's it, you know? So I remember one of like my really close boys like sat me down and he's like, something you have to take in is you are not your business. Like you are not the pink room. The pink room was made by Maria. And when he said that to me, like I was like, I made that.
It was like the oil spill moment for you, right?
I made it, exactly. You see like people in my corner spilling into me, and like he sat me down and I looked at that and I was like, you're freaking right. I did this. Like I'm sad about something I made, like I could remake it.
You can make other things.
I can remake other things. I can focus on other things. The way that I made this, I can make anything else. And like, that's kind of where my mind just went. And I started hanging around people that motivated me to do, even right now, what did I say? I'm like, you're motivating me so much because I've been talking about this for so long too. And like now seeing it being done, like you need to hang around with people that inspire you and push you to just be better versions of yourself and like never stop working on yourself.
It's, you know, before we started recording, we were chatting briefly and we were talking about the types of conversations even that we have with the people around us, and kind of touching on what I was saying earlier about, you know, you share something with one of your friends and you expect for them to kind of continue to uplift you, and when they spiral it in a way that's maybe negative, it can make you feel a certain type of way. And, you know, similarly, we were talking just before we started recording about how sometimes we get caught doing it ourselves, where we give something way more attention than it deserves, something negative, way more attention than it deserves. And you have to literally take a minute and stop and be like, I already gave that way too much time. Like, time is money, time is energy, and I gave that way more time and energy than it deserved. And what are we going to do going forward so that we're not falling down the same rabbit hole of, you know, giving something energy that isn't worth it? And that goes for people too, you know, negative people and negative energy. Like, and
most of the time, like, people don't realize that you feeling emotions, whether they're positive or negative towards a situation, aren't changing the outcome, right?
1,000%.
So when it's something negative and you're focusing on it so much, like, you can sit here and cry all you want and complain all you want,
but it doesn't fix it.
And you know, like, for me, like, I see that a lot, like, during my nail appointments. Like, I will see people, I see them every 3 weeks. I've seen some for like years.
Yeah, you know, people's
every
lives.
3 weeks. And some of them choose to sit at my chair every 3 weeks and talk about the same issue. And it's like, girl, you have nothing else you want my advice on? Like, I could give you so much better advice, and I've been giving you the same advice for 3 years, and like, it's done nothing. Like, you know, but it's like, I've also learned a lot by different people's lives, and it's like, move on. And if it's not working, like what I told you today, I have this like thing that I started visualizing like just recently, and it's like, you are this like flat watering pot, and you have pots, and you're gonna start watering them, and you watering them is like you putting your positivity and love into this, hoping that it's love and positivity that you're pouring into people's lives, and you're pouring it in, and you keep pouring it, and you see no seed sprout, and it's been like 3 weeks. You keep watering the same pot, hoping that one day it does. Like, after a while, you have to give up, right? And you have to be like, you know what? Maybe that was a bad seed. Let me throw the dirt out. Let me throw the seed out. Let me wash the pot out, and let me replant something. Yeah. And start watering again. And it's like, that's what you have to understand, that you have the choice of what you feed into, what people you feed into, who you let feed into you. And you have the choice to like keep doing it with certain people or certain situations, or just clean out the pot and like do it with something different to get a different outcome.
I really like that metaphor, actually.
Thank you.
You know what? I'm a big fan of plant metaphors in general, like seeds and things happening in the shadows.
You know, when I was having a picnic and I was just like watching the little plants, and I was like, man, like, our life is like plants, and like, we are plants, and we're living beings,
and we're growing. Yeah.
Yes. And like,
people pour into us. 1,000%.
People pour into us, and you become who you are around. Like, you know, it's so funny because as a kid, like, your parents and your grandparents will tell you things, and it's like, my mom was like, no, for me it was like, run with the wolves and you'll learn how to howl. And like, unfortunately, I was chilling with the wolves my whole life, so I was being told that all the time, and I was like, but the wolves are cool, like, you know.
I never heard that one, actually. That one's a good one. I always heard like, you are the company you keep. And as young people, we start to like be defensive about that, because we think about it. We're like,
I thought my mom thought they were gangsters. I was like, they are, but I want to be around them. I'm like, no, it's like in every sense.
That's the thing. We were defensive, right? We were kind of like, what is the meaning behind this? But
what do our parents know?
We haven't lived the lives that our parents have lived. My mom used to always say you can count your real friends on one hand. And I have a great circle of friends. And I love to say that I can continue to count them for days, right? But like, when it comes down to the table and the core and who you want there with you and who you want to continue your steps in your life with.
And who makes you the best version of yourself.
Yeah.
That is so real. And that's literally like, back to the table, like, that's the table. Like, you, like, I need to love myself around you. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I have to love the vibes I feel when I'm around you. Like, even like us, what we're saying, like, we see each other. I haven't seen you in like
months, probably a year.
Longer, like years maybe, like probably 2 now because of COVID. Yeah. And like, I saw you, and it's like, I linked up with you yesterday. We've been talking this whole time. Like, it feels great, just like when we met. And it's like, those are the people that like can continue being around me because you make me better and you make me have good days and like,
oh, thanks.
But you know, it's so true. Like, it's so true. Like even Amanda here too, like it's the same thing. Like we link up and it's like, I just know I'm going to have a good time with you. And that's what you need to look for in people. And it doesn't mean every time will be a good time, but we just know what the core is, right?
You know what? Going off what you just said, that is something that is a huge takeaway for me in spending time with anybody that I spend time with. If I leave feeling kind of like I didn't enjoy it, or not even didn't enjoy it, but I feel drained.
Yeah,
that's the right word, drained. Then chances are I'm not going to do it again, probably for a very long time. But the thing is that I've started really surrounding myself with people
that's important, that you won't do it.
Yeah.
Some people will feel it and do it and do it and do it and do it, and that's bad.
And for me now, I really have focused on the way I feel when I separate myself from somebody. And I'm infamous for sending my friends like I had a great time, or like
thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for this, and like this is what stood out. This was great, you know. And I've done that for quite some time, and it reminds me what that moment was about and what that experience was about, and it kind of gives me. She's gonna knock things over here.
Sorry.
No, we're good. But it kind of reminds me why it almost like subconsciously creates this memory and this nostalgia for me, so that the next time I'm about to spend time with that person, I'm like, oh yeah, I feel good with that person. I feel good. And it's not only about,
it's like muscle memory. It's like your body just knows, like when I link up with this person, it's a good time.
Yeah,
and that's amazing. Yeah,
that's
amazing. Like amazing.
And the thing is that it's not only just about feeling good, like in that moment, happy, joyful, whatever. It's about like feeling good, like something was gained from that moment.
Something, yeah. You know what? Something like you saying that brings up, like I take so much pride in this, but anytime I bring new people or friends outside of my group of friends to my group of friends, like it's not one time that this friend would be like, dude, your friends are so amazing, like your friends are so nice, or like they'll literally text me after and be like, yo, thanks for having me, like your friends are just so cool, and like your friends are this and your friends are that. And I'm like, it just reminds me that like it's so important to choose wisely, and they're a representation of you, right? And then it's like, obviously, like if you think I'm cool, my friends are gonna be cool, you know, like. But because I take like, I'm very, very picky with that now, and like even like if I have like if I bring a new person like by and like my friends are like, like you just kind of don't make it in, you know. Like I'm very like that. Like if my friends feel something or people around me, I just trust them enough now because I've been so picky that I trust that you know the vibrations.
That goes back to my last episode, right, where we were talking about letting people that you trust help guide you in your decision making and in your choices, because you have to believe that the person and the people that you keep around you, your partner, your friends, your family even, have enough discretion and know you enough to make good choices on your behalf, right? So like,
I find it a little crazy when people are like, oh no, I don't bring like new boyfriends or new girlfriends around my people like until after, and I'm just like,
that's them.
To me is the weirdest thing. And like I can get it in the sense of like they're not serious enough to bring around. Listen, I'm gonna tell my friends, yo, when he comes over, he's not my boyfriend, he's a friend, but you just treat him like a friend. But I need to see a person in my circle and in my place just to know whether like either you can sit at my table or not, right? Like this is the rest of my table. If it's not going good, you can't sit here.
And sometimes we get lost in our own bliss that we're not assessing things on the same level as everybody else that would.
And also like what we said, you become the person, right? So also if I'm hanging around a guy so much, like I end up becoming like him. So you're not gonna see the red flags because now you are him, sis. Like you need to be like disconnected from it.
Yeah.
To be like, okay, you know what? Like it's the wrong reasons that are keeping me there. Like just in any situation. Like
and you would hope that your people, the people that you keep closest to you, can
have good judgment. Yeah, and have good judgment. Yeah, definitely.
So we're gonna play a game.
Okay.
So
I'm nervous.
It's this or that. I played it in my first episode, so it's not too crazy, but I've picked questions randomly. Okay. So the idea is
I'm nervous.
It's kind of like a would you rather or this or that. You gotta just spit the first choice off the top of your head.
These better not be inappropriate.
They are not inappropriate. I don't think so. They're not inappropriate.
Talking about all positivity and then it just goes to like dick.
No. No. We didn't take it to such a girls chat. This is not like late night with Maria and Nadine.
I almost took it there right now.
Okay, so but we want to know your first response, right? So don't overthink it, but if you have a reason for why you chose that, you can share. Okay.
Do I have to explain why I'm choosing this answer? Because
you don't have to, but if you have a good reason,
Okay.
feel free to share it. Like on the first episode, I asked something about maple syrup, and I already knew what the answer was going to be because Keith's favorite thing in the whole world on all his breakfast is maple syrup. So I already knew what that was going to be. All right, you ready?
Okay.
Okay. Would you rather have what you're always thinking visible for everyone to see, or have every single thing you do live streamed?
Wow, like I think really messed up things sometimes.
She did say she's the harsh friend though. So.
Yeah, that'd be bad. Like I have like one person left on my table.
She'd have no clients.
Okay, okay, my thoughts. I'll just think better things.
Okay. Yeah, then you have to focus on positivity. See how that played out? All right, would you always be 10 minutes late or always 20 minutes early?
I'm always late, and it's one of like the main things on my list to fix. So 20 minutes early for me.
Okay, good for you, girl. I'm a late
Yeah.
person too. Would you rather be caught in the act by a cop or by one of your parents?
I mean, I don't know. Say
You
that
got
like
some-
both
you
have
got
happened. I'm kidding. Let's say
Which one was more mortifying?
let's say I'll do the cop. We'll do
right.
that again.
I was gonna say I don't think you have very strict parents, but you definitely have some cultural.
Girl, I'm Mexican and Nicaragua. Like no. There's no joke there. Like it's like that's all I know.
Ready? Okay. Would you rather? This is interesting to me because you're a very introspective, intellectual person.
Wow.
Would you rather lose your ability to read or lose your ability to speak?
Whew. Read because I'll watch things or I'll listen to podcasts.
Okay. I was gonna say.
Yeah. I'm good.
You're a podcast
I love
fan,
podcasts.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather see 10 minutes into your future or 10 minutes into someone else's future? This is a dangerous one. So.
10 minutes worth of information?
10 minutes forward.
Like 10 minutes from now?
Like, actually, this is a good.
Like, I know I'll be pouring up another glass of wine.
I told you that she's very introspective. See how she's analyzing the question? Okay. Would you rather see what's going to happen in the next 10 minutes of your life or the next 10 minutes of somebody else's? It doesn't have to be in this very moment because we know that wine is the next.
Yep. 10 minutes. So if I had a man, I could know what he's going to do in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so someone else's. Okay.
Keith is like, oh, bitch.
Which do you prefer? I feel like I know this one because I know your like dietary preferences.
I think I post too much on Instagram.
I mean, you're part of why I don't even eat meat anymore.
Woo, I love that.
I don't eat meat anymore, and I was like, shit, she's been doing this for forever.
Yes. How long has it been?
2 years in July.
Wow. Yeah. You're like the second person in the last 2 days telling me that.
Well,
congratulations.
The thing is that I have to like always ask you your recipes though.
Congrats. I love that. See, the people you surround yourself with is who you become.
Yeah. So
amazing.
So I feel like I kind of know the answer to this, but I could be wrong. Do you prefer drive-ins or drive-throughs?
Drive-ins. We don't really have a lot of drive-ins.
We got like 2.
Like drive-in movie theaters?
Yeah.
Honestly, I just smoke and pass out in the car. I've tried it a couple times. I'm like, this is not for me.
I feel like she's such an experienced person. Like you're always at a winery.
Okay, this is so funny you say this because I was like, the next time I go to a drive-in, I want to rent a pickup truck and a blow-up mattress and do the back and just a vibe, and then I'm down for that. So drive-ins.
Yeah, because I was thinking drive-thrus because like, do you?
I don't really like. No, I
and
try
fries?
not to.
Like,
and if I do, like Harvey's or A&W.
Okay. Shout out to the A&W. All right. Okay, here we go. This is the interesting one. Would you rather a massage with smooth peanut butter or with Canadian maple syrup?
I mean, if it was crunchy peanut butter, it would exfoliate.
This is how you know she's a beauty and nail doer.
I know. I was like, what can we work with? Ew. I guess the maple syrup because it's easier to wash.
Okay, so it's like an oil spill though.
Yeah, but peanut butter's oil. Imagine peanut butter. Like, no.
All right.
Keith, you're so weird. He's like, give me the maple syrup.
Would you rather go back 100 years or go forward 100 years?
That's super cool. I think back. I'm like such a nerd. I'm like, I love to see history. And one of my friends actually just went to Africa. And he was saying that it's like you travel 100 years back. And
just exploring everything?
Just everything. And like just how like they're not westernized and they're not like just everything is just so like not advanced, no technology, and like it just sounds so cool to go back and live a simple life. So 100 years.
I'm gonna pull off this question right now with a secondary question.
Yeah.
If you went back 100 years, what is something that you would do different, or what you would change, or something that you would stand out to you going back to that time?
Like for the world?
For anything. You might like the hairstyles from 100 years ago. I don't know.
No, I would definitely get into like ocean research and like help with that, you know? Okay. Just like all the damage that's done to the ocean, reverse that 100 years.
She's gonna reverse that by 100 years. So
that'd be a dream.
There will be no straws and turtles.
Not at all. The coral reef would be booming.
All right. Okay, last 2 questions. Would you rather be completely insane and know that you are, or completely...
I am.
Or completely insane and believe that you are sane?
I'm insane and I know I'm insane.
Okay, all right. She was on it. That was transparency. Right?
Yep.
Okay, last question. Would you rather a new car or a new job?
That's hard because I love my job, so I guess I'll take the new car right now because, yeah.
She loves her job because she's her own boss. So.
Yep, you know, I could do whatever I want.
Exactly. She can start her new job.
I can make a new job. Yeah, I was like, I'll take the new car and make a new job after. Yeah.
It's like nails on the go by Maria in her new car.
No, forget that. Like something else. Uber Eats.
You know what? The next episode I do with Maria is gonna actually have to be like a road trip or like a car ride.
Oh my god, that'd be so much fun.
It could be at the drive-thru.
He was like, bitch, we're setting up in a car.
I know. It could be at the drive-in.
We're getting so creative, and he's like, how are we doing this? How's it? Oh, at the drive-in.
At the drive-in. We'll record
before the movie
from,
starts.
Yeah,
and I pass out.
We'll record live from the back of a pickup truck that she's planning on renting. So we'll let you know how that goes, the planning. I'm going to close out this episode because you and I could probably go on forever about positive energy and soaking it all up. Hopefully it's summer soon and we could just soak up the sun. Yes. Because we are trapped by COVID and lockdown.
But until then, life is great, so enjoy it.
It is. It is. So thank you so much for this episode. It was so fun. I'm going to let you tell everybody where they can find you and how they can find you and that they should come get their nails done.
Amazing. So you guys, you guys can follow the shop at the Pink Room TO, and my personal one, if you want to see my smoothies and my rants, is at MF Sotelo on Instagram.
So check her out, and of course, please follow 818 and Conversate on Instagram. The link to this episode on pretty much every major platform is available there. And every episode drops on the 8th and the 18th of every month at 8:18 p.m. So 8:18 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah. So please check out every episode, and thank you so much again.
I just have to say I love your branding because like who's gonna forget that? 8 and 18th. I said it as she was writing it down today. I was like 8 and 18th of every month.
I know. You know what? My friend yesterday was like, the 8th passed. Where's your episode? I'm like, girl, I dropped it. You missed it. So nice try. Keep up. So yeah. So please check it out. The 8th and 18th of every month. This is 818 and Conversate. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for having us at the Pink Room.
All right, guys. Check us out. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Cute. That was so fun.
And one more time.